Welcome to another Friday fireside chat in front of the whiteboard. I think this is week 3 doing this, but for this one, I definitely wanted to illustrate a few things here. From the title though, hopefully you're really intrigued and you're really inspired. I know I was inspired. $17,000 to $24.2 million. That's some good stuff. Now it didn't come from somebody trading, but still the mentality here is what I want to focus on, or the lack thereof. And in particular, there was something from the article that I'm going to share and where this is all coming from that kind of wanted me to throw it out to you. How would you answer the question? I'm going to give my answer. I'm guessing that if you're watching this, if you're subscribed to the channel, then we're going to be answering it pretty similarly. We're going to have the same overall, mindset in regards to it. But it's one of those mindsets where it's like, why do you got to look at things like that? Why do you got to imply that? Why can't you imply the other side of things? And that's what I want to focus on. So let me grab my phone. The title of this article, Citigroup CEO Corbett defends bank's pay gap. I started in 1983 at $17,000. So it goes on to say, Michael Corbett defended the huge compensation gap between low-level employees and top management at Citigroup, saying it should inspire the rank-and-file workers who could someday fill his shoes. My answer is, I am that person, Corbett said Thursday on CNBC Squawk on the Street. I started at our firm in 1983 at $17,000 a year. The pay gap at Citigroup, led by Corbett since 2012, is the biggest among large U.S. banks. Corbett made $24.2 million last year, 486 times the median employee pay of $49,766. So then the article goes on to say, and eventually gets to the point, Corbett, along with other bank CEOs, was grilled last month by U.S. lawmakers over the pay gap at their institutions. So this representative says, if you were an employee and you saw your boss making $486 for every dollar you make, how would you feel about that? Well, I'm going to tell you how I would feel about that. So let's kind of break this down here. There's a box. We all have boxes. Everywhere around us is boxes. And the choice is really, what kind of box do you want to be a part of? Okay? So here we have a box. Not a very good looking box, but it's a box. And this lawmaker was like, hey, for every dollar that somebody makes, you're making $486 for every dollar. How do you feel about that? That is awesome. Why is that awesome? Well, for this person down here, I get so excited I can't even grab them. For this person down here, talk about upside potential. I mean, that's amazing. That's a lot of upside potential. Whereas how I would have answered had been like, okay, Miss Lawmaker, Miss Congresswoman, what happens if I tell you, well, you know what? If you come work for my company, if you come put yourself in this box, guess what? I make $5 for every dollar you make. If that was me, and I'm not going to speak for you, but if that was me, I'd be like, that's my growth potential within this box, within this company, within this situation. That's my growth. That's it? You only make $5 more than me? So you're telling me that if I get to the summit of the mountain, if I get to the peak, I'm going to be making $5 more per hour, or $5 more for every dollar that I'm making right now? Yeah, I'm going to go look for another job. I'm going to look for another box. So that's how I would respond is, so you're telling me, lawmaker, that this is a more ideal situation? Mrs. Lawmaker, how would you feel about that? If I was trying to get you to come to work for my company, Mrs. Lawmaker, and I said, listen, for every dollar you make, your growth potential is $5 like what I make. Like I said, if that is your ideal box, I would encourage you to look for more potential. Look for more upside. Because it's out there. Now the box for me as a trader, for me as a business owner, for me as somebody that invests in real estate and cows, but I won't get into the cow thing. But the box I choose, the box I want, and I'm not saying this is the box for you, but this is the choice of the box, is not this, but unknown. I like unknown boxes. We're the top of that box. I don't know. The sky's the limit. You can make as much as you want. I don't want anybody, I don't want anything where their philosophy, their mindset is, come on, we got to lower the box. We got to shrink the box. That's what's fair. No. What's fair is getting this box as big as possible. That's what's fair. If that CEO can say, hey, listen, I make $500 now for every dollar, that must mean that that the company is growing, that there is more potential to grow within the company. Now I do realize some people would say, well, Clay, hey, you can always just do this. You can shrink the box, just bring up the pay. Yeah, that already happens. That's called a competitive job market. Meaning if this box wants to try to crush another box, because that's what business is, right? Companies competing against one another. So if one box wants to crush somebody else, then they can raise that up. And you know what? They're going to get people that show up that, oh, well, I can go work at that box now. And I'm starting off lower or higher than what somebody else is willing to pay me, right? This is just basic job search stuff. You're looking for a job, you're doing interviews. One of the things you're going to weigh is, well, how much is the starting salary? How much is the lower of the box? So the whole idea is, well, you know what? You can always just raise up the box. That already happens. That's the whole point of business. How do you get talent? Well, you got to make them attractive. You got to make your box attractive. And you can make it attractive by shrinking it in the upward direction. You can also make it attractive by trying to get that number as big as possible to show all the upside potential if you come and work in the box. But this already exists. So don't let anybody say, well, you could always do it. It already happens. It's called the free market. Okay? So what is your view on this? How do you view it? For me, I can't stand people like, oh, well, that's just not right. No, what's not right is making it so the best you can do is $5 for every $1. That's discouraging. That's depressing. I'm not saying, again, that you have to go and jump into the unknown box. I'm not saying you got to go and that's your only hope at all. But what box you're a part of, that's up to you. And I would encourage you to find a box where you have the CEO, the company owner, the whatever owner is making all kinds of money. Because that means he's doing something right. And it also means part of doing something right is creating growth opportunities for yourself. I mean, think about it. Remember, did this guy start up here? No, he started way down here at $17,000 a year. Granted, 1983, so I understand inflation kind of warps that around. But still, with inflation factored in, because he got himself part of a box, the Citigroup box, which, by the way, that is the bank I would want to go work for. If that is where the biggest pay gap resides, is that Citigroup, that's where the most potential is. I want to get a job at Citigroup. But to think that he went there, he put himself in the box, and over time, he just worked himself up. Let's just say, you know what? He only got 10% of the way there. He was only able to work himself up 10% of the potential. So here, he's only making now, $4.86 of a dollar. Or, for the 24.2 million. I'm only made it 10% of the way. I'm only making, $200,000, $300,000. I mean, what could you do with $300,000 a year? I could do that's a lot of money. I'd be happy with $300,000 a year. So the point being, put yourself in a box with not necessarily unknown upside, but the biggest upside is potential. And as a trader, that's what we're doing, right? They're trading the markets. Hey, unlimited upside potential. So that's why I say, I'm pretty sure you're already in this mindset, but don't go with all these gimmicks about, no, we're after upside potential. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.